My name is Alara Whitcomb, and what I'm about to tell you is something I wish had never happened. People in my town still talk about it in low voices, like they're afraid the story itself might come back to life. Some say I did the right thing. Others say I crossed a line no one should ever cross. But before you judge me, you need to understand how it all began. Stick with me while I share my story, and if it touches you, don't forget to support our channel by hitting that subscribe button, dropping a like, and sharing it with the people you care about. I lived in a quiet place called Briar Glen, where life moved slowly and everyone knew each other. It was the kind of town where people didn't lock their doors at night and children played outside until the sun went down. Nothing bad ever seemed to happen there. That's why I felt safe raising my son, Rowan, in that small world. Rowan was my everything. He had this bright smile that could make even the worst day feel lighter. He loved simple things, running through the fields, collecting little stones, and asking endless questions about the world. Every night before bed, he would tell me about his day like it was the greatest adventure ever. I used to think nothing could ever take that happiness away from us. But life has a way of breaking the things you trust the most. There was one person I trusted more than anyone else in Briar Glen, Marlene Voss. She wasn't just a neighbor, she was like family. We spent holidays together, helped each other through hard times, and shared things we never told anyone else. I believed she would always be there for me, just like I was for her. Looking back now, I realize how blind trust can be the most dangerous thing. Everything started to change on a normal evening, the kind that doesn't seem important until it becomes the moment your life splits in two. The air was calm, the sky turning orange as the sun began to set. Rowan had been laughing just hours before, full of energy like always. I remember watching him, thinking how lucky I was. Marlene's house was just a short walk away, close enough that Rowan could go there on his own. He had done it many times before, and every time he came back smiling, telling me about the games they played or the snacks she gave him. That evening felt no different. He grabbed his little jacket, turned back at the door, and gave me a quick smile before leaving. "I'll be back soon, Mom," he said. Those were the last words I heard from him. At first, I didn't think much of it. Time passed the way it always does, quietly, without warning. I cleaned up around the house, folded some clothes, and waited for the sound of the door opening again. But as the sky turned darker and the air grew colder, something started to feel wrong. Rowan was never late. I told myself not to panic. Maybe he was just having too much fun. Maybe he lost track of time. Still, a strange feeling settled deep in my chest, one I couldn't explain. It was like a quiet voice telling me something wasn't right. I walked over to Marlene's house, trying to stay calm. Too close. Every time someone asked her a question, she answered quickly, like she had already prepared what to say. When they asked when Rowan arrived, her answer was short. When they asked when he left, it changed just slightly each time. Not enough for others to notice, but enough for me. A mother notices everything. At one point, I looked at her hands. They were shaking, but not like mine. My hands shook from fear. Hers felt different, like she was trying to hold something in. "Are you okay?" she asked me again, placing her hand on my shoulder. I nodded, but inside something shifted. That touch didn't feel comforting anymore. It felt wrong. The search continued into the early morning. The sky slowly turned gray, and exhaustion hit everyone. Still, there was no sign of Rowan, no clue, no answer. That's when I went back to Marlene's house. I told the others I needed a moment, that I wanted to check if Rowan had somehow returned without us knowing. It was an excuse, but I didn't fully understand why I said it. Something inside me was pulling me there. The house was quiet when I stepped in. Too quiet. I walked through the living room, then the kitchen. Everything looked normal, just like always. Nothing out of place, nothing broken, nothing that showed any sign of panic. But that didn't calm me. It made it worse. I moved slowly, my heart beating louder with every step. Then I noticed something strange. A small mark on the floor near the hallway. It looked like it had been cleaned, but not well enough. I knelt down, staring at it. It wasn't dirt. My chest tightened.
I stood up quickly and looked around again, this time more carefully. That's when I saw it, the back door. It was slightly open. Marlene had told everyone she stayed inside after Rowan left, so why was the back door open? The air felt colder suddenly, like the house itself was hiding something. I stepped closer, pushing the door open just a little more. It led to the yard behind the house, where an old shed stood near the edge. I had seen that shed 100 times before, but now it felt different. A strange feeling crept up my spine. Fear, yes, but something deeper than that, something that made it hard to breathe. In that moment, I didn't have proof, I didn't have answers, but I had something else, a feeling so strong it drowned out everything else. Marlene was lying, and somehow my son had never really left this place. I stood there staring at the shed like it was calling me. Every instinct told me to walk away, to go back and tell the others, to do things the right way. But another voice inside me was louder, a mother's voice. I stepped outside slowly, my feet feeling heavy against the ground. The early morning air was cold, but I barely felt it. All I could focus on was that shed.
But I couldn't. I dropped to my knees and touched the soil. It was loose, fresh. Tears filled my eyes before I even understood why. My heart already knew what my mind was trying to deny. I didn't dig. I couldn't, because in that moment, the truth hit me harder than anything ever had. Rowan wasn't missing. He was gone. A sound behind me made me freeze. Slowly, I turned around. Marlene was standing in the doorway. Her face was pale, her eyes wide, but there were no tears, no shock, just something cold and empty. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she stepped forward. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. Her voice, it wasn't the same anymore. It didn't sound like the woman I trusted. It sounded like a stranger. Something inside me broke completely. "Where is my son?" I asked, my voice shaking but stronger than I expected. She didn't answer right away. She just looked at me, like she was deciding something. And then she smiled, a small, chilling smile that I will never forget. That was the moment I realized the truth wasn't just painful, it was evil. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. That smile stayed on her face like nothing had happened, like she wasn't standing in front of a mother whose world had just been destroyed. My hands clenched into fists, my whole body shaking, not from fear anymore, but from something much deeper. "Say it," I whispered. "Say what you did." Marlene tilted her head slightly, watching me like I was the one who didn't understand. "You always thought you were better than me," she said softly. "Everyone did." Her words didn't make sense. Not yet. My mind was still trying to catch up, trying to hold on to anything that could undo what I was feeling. "This isn't about me," I said, my voice breaking. "This is about my son." Her expression hardened. "Everything was always about you," she snapped. "Your perfect life, your perfect child, the way everyone looked at you like you had it all." I stared at her, disbelief mixing with rage. "So you took him?" I asked. "That's your reason?" She didn't answer directly. Instead, she stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I just wanted you to feel what it's like to lose something." Those words hit me harder than anything else. "You didn't just take something," I said. Tears. She didn't need to. She believed I was defeated. That was her biggest mistake, because as I stepped back into the quiet morning, I made a decision. I wasn't going to scream, I wasn't going to beg, and I wasn't going to let her get away with it. I was going to make her feel everything. The town believed I was broken after that day, and in a way, I was. I stopped joining the searches. I stopped asking questions. When people came to comfort me, I just nodded quietly, like I had accepted everything. They saw a grieving mother who had lost hope. That's exactly what I wanted them to see, because while they were watching my silence, I was watching her. Marlene went back to her normal life faster than anyone expected. She smiled at people again, spoke kindly, even brought food to my house once, pretending to care. I opened the door,
looked her in the eyes, and thanked her. She thought I had given up, but every small thing she did I noticed. The way she avoided certain questions, the way she stayed away from the shed, the way her confidence slowly returned, like she believed the truth would stay buried forever. She underestimated me. At night, when the town went quiet, I couldn't sleep, not because of fear, but because my mind wouldn't stop. Every memory of Rowan played over and over again. His laugh, his voice, the way he said "mom" like it was the safest word in the world. That pain didn't weaken me, it focused me. I started paying attention to her routine. When she left the house, when she came back, who she spoke to, when she was alone. Days passed and I moved carefully, never rushing, never making it obvious. I needed to be sure. I needed everything to be perfect, because this wasn't just about revenge. It was about making sure she could never lie again. One evening, I saw my chance. Marlene was outside, speaking with a neighbor, laughing like nothing had ever happened. That sound, it didn't feel real. It felt wrong, like something that didn't belong in this world anymore. That's when I decided I would bring her back to that moment.
You can replace this text with any text you wish. You can either write in this text box or paste your own text here. Try different languages and voices. Change the speed and the pitch of the voice. You can even tweak the SSML, speech synthesis markup language, to control how the different sections of the text sound. Click on SSML above to give it a try. Enjoy using text-to-speech, that's normal, Alara. It takes time. No, I interrupted gently. Not like this. The room went quiet. I reached into my pocket and placed something on the table between us. It was a small piece of fabric, part of Rowan's jacket. I had taken it from the shed. Marlene's eyes dropped to it instantly. Her face lost color. For the first time, I saw something real in her expression. Fear. You recognize it, don't you? I asked softly. She didn't answer. You should, I continued. It was with him, the whole time. Her breathing changed. Faster now. Uneven. I went back there, I said, my voice steady. I saw everything. That's not, she started, but her voice failed her. You should have told the truth, I said. You had so many chances. Silence filled the room again, but this time it was heavy, crushing. I didn't mean for it to happen like that, she whispered suddenly. There it was. Not a full confession, but enough. I leaned back slightly, watching her carefully. Then tell me how it happened. She shook her head, tears forming in her eyes now. I lost control. He wouldn't stop talking about you, about how much he loved you. And she stopped, covering her face. You what? I pressed, my voice still calm. I just wanted him to be quiet, she cried. Just for a moment. Her words echoed in the room like something broken beyond repair. And in that moment, I knew. I had what I needed. But I wasn't done. Because this wasn't just about hearing the truth. No one moved to defend her. Because deep down, they already knew. Her knees gave out, and she dropped into the chair behind her, shaking. I didn't mean to, she whispered again, but this time her voice was weak, broken. It was over. The truth had nowhere left to hide. Within minutes, more people gathered. Word spread quickly in a town like ours. The same people who once trusted her, who welcomed her into their homes, now stood there in silence, watching her fall apart. And I stood there too. Not crying. Not screaming. Just watching. Because this moment, this truth, it didn't bring Rowan back. It didn't fix anything. But it made sure one thing was clear. She couldn't escape what she had done. As the weight of it all settled in, I turned away. I couldn't look at her anymore. I didn't need to. For the first time since that night, I felt something different. Not peace, but something close to it. Because now, everyone knew. The days that followed felt unreal. The town moved differently now, quieter, heavier, like everyone was carrying a piece of the truth they had witnessed. Marlene was taken away, her cries and broken excuses fading into nothing as people turned their backs on her. No one defended her. No one even tried. The same streets that once felt safe now held a silence that couldn't be ignored. People avoided looking at me for too long, not out of guilt, but because they didn't know what to say. What do you say to a mother who lost everything? I stopped expecting answers. Instead, I went back to the one place I had been avoiding, the shed. This time, I didn't go alone. The authorities were there, along with a few people from the town. They handled everything carefully, respectfully. I stood at a distance, my arms wrapped around myself, watching without